What's going on, boxing YouTube community? This is Super Kid Frosty. Um, I'm a new subscriber to the boxing world, and pretty much what I'm going to do is start doing fight predictions, start talking about fights in general, fighters in general, the boxing world in general, looking at the past of boxing and also the future. Um, First off, just a little bit about me and then how I got into boxing. Um, Grew up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Um, so I'm a big Mayweather fan. I'm a big James Toney fan. Um, but I never boxed in my life, and I started liking boxing when I was a freshman in high school, and I watched a Roy Jones Jr. highlight vid and I used to watch before I ran, because I ran competitively for 14 years. Ran cross country and I ran track, long distance, both at the high school and collegiate level. So, not a boxer, I'm a runner, but I love both sports, and boxing over the last couple of years has really taken to me. I absolutely love it. I can't really, it's hard to explain, but watching that video, that Roy Jones Jr. video, I just like, it's like this existential feeling of like how amazing his craft is. Just how he was able to throw triple left hooks, to move and groove in the ring. I was just blown away by his craftsmanship. And I used to just think boxing was just two guys getting in the ring, hitting each other, Didn't really know a lot about it, but it was guys like Roy Jones and Sweet Purnell, Sweet Pea Whitaker, the art of hit and not getting hit. I learned that it wasn't just getting hit. It was a martial art. And it really is. It's a martial art that is sanctioned, and and but it's guys like Tommy Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler, Alexis Arguello, Ruben Olivares, just anyone. I mean, I love all the weight classes. Not a big heavyweight guy, so you won't hear me talk about heavyweight too much unless it's in the past. But there's so much out there that you can find on YouTube, which is just this is why I'm kind of getting into it too. Is like, if you're a casual boxing fan, YouTube's a place to go to kind of explore and broaden your horizons, and see what's out there. Because I mean, you can get fights from all over the world that are awesome fights. I mean, you just look at the 2006 Fight of the Year, Mahir Manchapur versus Sitha Chadawara. Yeah, that guy from Thailand. Awesome fighter. I can't say his name, sorry. But you would never even be able to see that fight unless it was posted on YouTube. Most Americans, at least. And that's an amazing fight. That's one of my favorite fights on YouTube. So there is this broad community that you can really explore, and it's an amazing sport, and I want to start covering it because I have no one else to talk to, because none of my friends like boxing. I can't find anyone who really does. It's hard to find people who really are passionate about the sport and who aren't packtards or gay weather fans. I know those are derogatory terms, but I'm kind of sick of it. And honestly, I respect both fighters. I like both fighters. As fighters, their personalities aside, and I really don't want to see any of that on my YouTube videos. So whatever. If you want to comment about it, I don't care, but I probably won't pay attention to it. So, well, let's get into a little bit about what's going on coming up. But first, well, let's talk about Robert Guerrero, Andre Berto. Fight was awesome fight. I mean, that was just a hellacious phone booth street scrap, man. That was just crazy. I was not expecting that. I had the expectation that Robert Guerrero was going to go in and kind of pick Berto apart a little bit, and it pretty much from round 1 and round 2, that's what kind of happened. But man, Berto came back, really surprised me. I didn't know how he was going to take his fight coming back from the steroid allegations, and then his loss to Ortiz, shoulder injury. So, or not a shoulder. Victor Ortiz had a shoulder injury. Sorry, but you know, he just took some hellacious beatings across the eyes, and I was just surprised at how he was able to stick in it. Didn't really like the third man in the ring, Lou Morel. I think he could have done a little better job about warning both fighters about holding, because Guerrero was holding too, and he was smart in the fact that he was hitting on the other side of Lou Morel, especially on the body, which is dirty tactics, but that's boxing. I mean, that's what you have to do to win. So, great fight. Love to see a rematch if they did it. Don't think he's ready for Mayweather, honestly, watching the Berto fight. But I could see Mayweather picking Guerrero as his next opponent. It would not surprise me, because I think Mayweather would probably beat him very fairly. So anyways, let's get into upcoming fights here. I'm probably just going to cover Cotto Trout. I know Tyson Fury's fighting, but haven't really looked into that too much. Maybe I'll post something later. Japanese fighter Koki Kamada's fighting soon as well. Maybe I'll post something about that. But since this is my first video, I'm just going to try to get into it a little bit here. Haven't really looked into Trout too much. He's a good boxer. I watched a bit of his fight with Delvin Rodriguez. He's pretty slick on his feet, which surprised me. He's a southpaw. He's got a really great jab. Good right hook too, which he kind of shoots a jab and then shoots the right and uses the left to pick apart. But I'm gonna have to go with Cotto on the prediction here. I think he's gonna win by unanimous decision. But there's a couple of reasons why. One, I think he is the more seasoned fighter, obviously. But I think he's the more technically sound boxer of the two. Austin Trout has good technical skills, but he doesn't have the overall tenacity that Cotto has in terms of combination punching. He's kind of an in and out, shoot one or two kind of fighter, Trout is. And he slows during fights, which worries me when I think about him going up against Cotto, because Cotto's a real workhorse for most of the time. His fight with Mayweather, I think he was frustrated, and I don't really think we saw the true Cotto come out. But you know, you watch his fights. The second fight with Margarito was just, you know, he really shined that day. And another point is Trout tends to lean in a little bit. He's really tall, but he does lean in a little bit, which can cause some problems for him, because he's going to probably catch some good Cotto jabs. And he also has to watch how he dips his right hand down. Or not his right hand, his left hand. He's southpaw. He dips his left hand down a little bit, and it's good when he covers for the body. But if Cotto decides to feint, which he probably will, feint with the right hand, you know, feint to the body, then go right hand to the top, and then he can do it vice versa. Trout's got to be aware that he kind of hangs his left hand a bit low. He doesn't hold it up towards his face, but he does have long arms, so he is able to cover up that body. But for Cotto, I think that he needs to do what he's always done. Honestly, I don't think this will be a drawn out fight unless Trout um, decides to box all night. But I don't think that will save him, to be honest. I think that Cotto's going to do some work on the body, lots of left hooks. Um, the one thing that Trout could do is be aware of Cotto's foot movement, try to capture him in range of when he is moving, because Cotto's real defense isn't really his head movement. He does slip, but he moves more than he slips, and he'll do a little bit of the covering like this, and then slip away. So he'll move and then he'll cover and then slip. So what Trout would probably want to do is when he's blocking here, come over here and hit with the right hand. But yeah, I have Cotto winning this fight by unanimous decision. I don't think he's a worn fighter yet. I think he has a lot to still offer, but he's been in some tough and rumble fights. So it wouldn't surprise me if Trout won by unanimous decision by just trying to outbox him all night and trying to use his lengthy jab and his height as an advantage. But I mean, we saw what happened with Margarito, and the trouble I saw him have a little bit with even Delvin Rodriguez kind of gives me the position that Cotto could easily win this fight, and I do have him winning this fight by unanimous decision. That's my final prediction on that. So we'll see how it happens. I'm not terribly excited about this fight, but it's what's coming up. And then we have, of course, a couple weeks, Manny Pacquiao, Juan Manuel Marquez fight, number 4. Didn't ever really want to see it, but now that I rewatched all 3 fights, it's kind of a little bit more intriguing to me. I'm trying to be positive about this. I know that most people don't really care, but we'll see how it unfolds, and I hope that for some aspect that they kind of hold their KO promises to truth here. I really want to see a rough and tumble fight. I want to see them both going for the knockout to truly end this feud here about who wins and who hasn't won. And just to kind of recap here, for the first fight I had Manny Pacquiao winning by 1 round. It's been a while since I covered the second fight, but I did have Marquez winning the second fight, and then I had their third fight a draw. So for me, this is kind of like, okay, let's finally just end this, and we'll see how it goes. For the third fight, I did have it a draw, but I did have some switch rounds where I could see it going either way for Pacquiao. I just didn't think Marquez did enough in the last 3 rounds to really win that fight. So that's my take on that. I'll probably cover Marquez Pacquiao coming up here next week or so. I'm a pretty busy guy. I'm still going to school and college and stuff. So this might not be an every week kind of deal, but it's just something I want to start. Even if no one watches my videos, it's just for me to even just talk to myself, I guess, about boxing, but just to cover it and to give the opportunity for people to comment, give me feedback. I'd love to hear from the boxing community, especially all you guys who do predictions and stuff, and anyone who's just interested in boxing. Shoot me anything. Love to talk about it. And that's my 2 cents. So see you guys later.